Good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 303. This is a show where we share our feeling about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy lists on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. As always, you can write the show at PS This Is Awesome at gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure you leave comments and rate our podcast as you see fit. As a reminder, this is a video podcast as well. You can watch the show if you prefer at our YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed to that. And for new and or long-time listeners, we have a Patreon. You can support the show at a $1 level. The Patreon tier is called the One and Only $1 Club. So for $1 a month, head over to www.patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to become a $1 patron, and you will get a free die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail, and we'll also give you a shout-out on our show. With that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing this Sunday morning?
Not too bad. It's a beautiful day out. It's a little chilly, but it's supposed to warm up to, I don't know, like 50 degrees today. So as long as it stays sunny, that's all right.
Yeah, it was warm out this morning. Warmer, I mean, I guess it's all in context, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I was outside pretty much all day yesterday, and it was relatively enjoyable. I mean, I just wore basically a sweatshirt and had some long johns on under my jeans, and it's nice to be able to get a little sunshine. Days aren't very long right now, so gonna try to get back outside a little bit this afternoon, I think.
It's a good day for it. Time is running out. Soon it will be snow. It'll be snow laden everywhere, and it will be cold and miserable, and no matter how many gloves you have over your fingers and pairs of socks you have over your toes, you will not be comfortable for the next 5 months. So enjoy it while you can. I was out at the grocery store today, and it's crazy that, like, one of the things, at least we have this thing called the Battery Daddy, which is a hilarious thing. I think my parents picked it up at the local Big Lots and gave it to us for a Christmas gift. But inside, it's an organizer for all the different kinds of batteries you may need in your house, right? You got your 9 volts, your double A's, your triple A's. And then I think there are some D's, C's. There's a spot for them all. So we have had this Battery Daddy, and it's been stocked full for like 2 Christmases. It's just been full because my parents hooked us up for Christmas, and what a nice gift. It's like, I hate buying batteries. I hate buying them. I can't stand to buy them. They're so expensive. And then when you do buy them, usually they just get thrown in a drawer, like the other 6 that you don't need, or the other 4 that you don't need. You need 2 double A's, and you got to buy them at least a pack of 4. But then you look at the shelf, and it's like, oh, if I get 8, it's actually a better deal. And then you buy, and then these batteries just sit around. So we have a very specific case now for our batteries. I went to Giant Eagle to get some groceries today. We're gonna have some brats later tonight, vegetarian, vegan brats. But I went and bought some stuff for that and some different stuff. But batteries were on the list, and I needed to get some AAA batteries. And at Giant Eagle, I could only find AA batteries anywhere. And you have a shopping app, and you type in what you want. And sometimes it'll tell you what aisle you need to go to. Sometimes it won't. It depends on if you have your store set up in the app. And then, the service is always minimal in these stores. And it's just like, I can't find AAA batteries to save my life. And where we live, the Giant Eagle is very close to Home Depot. And I'm like, well, I'm sure Home Depot will have a battery display, especially for Black Friday somewhere, just like out in the middle of a hallway somewhere, because usually they sell huge amounts of batteries in big packs, and then they give you a couple bucks off. So with groceries in tow in my trunk, I go to Home Depot, and I had some stuff that was frozen in my trunk, groceries. I need to get back to the house quick enough. But I get into Home Depot. And do you ever like know that you're walking on the correct side of an aisle and somebody's coming towards you, but they're clearly coming into your lane? So then you make the decision either to stop and let them like just like walk around you even though you're in the right lane, or you take offensive action and you just go into the lane that they should be in to get around them. So this happened when I got to Home Depot. This guy was clearly in my lane and he was coming right at me. And I'm like, I can't go right because there's nothing else. There's like a wall. So I guess I'm going to juke left. And the moment I juke left, he juked right. And we were in the same path again. And then it turned into that, this thing where you start going like this. No, you go, no, oh, I'm sorry. But it's like, if you motherfucker would have just been in the correct lane to begin with, this wouldn't have happened. So I get frustrated in public. Where just like people have no situational awareness except for like tunnel vision. I'm looking for my thing that I need, and I don't give a fuck about anybody else in the store. And I run into this a lot. But anyways, I'm looking for batteries. Again, huge displays, double A's everywhere. So I pull out the Home Depot app, and I'm like, and then of course, I shave my beard, so they're coming and they're asking me if I need help. And I'm just like, I'll just pull it up on the app. It'll tell me what aisle. I'm fine. Don't worry. So I pull it up.
What does your beard have to do with you needing help?
The only time anyone asks if I need help at Home Depot is when I'm clean shaven. If I have that big ass beard, no one fucking talks to me. It's really weird. It's a great social experiment. But 100%, I'm not making it up. I can't get help when I have a big ass beard and I'm at Home Depot. Like, they just assume I know what the fuck I need and what I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because you kind of look,
find you intimidating.
You look like the burly guy, like, the contractor guy, whatever. But like, if I'm clean shaven, they're on me like gnats instantly. And I'm just like, I got this. It's just batteries. I don't need your help today. So I'm looking through the app and I find the AAA batteries on the app. And then it says, we can deliver to them store or you can have them shipped to your home. And I'm like, well, no, like you got to have some in the store. So then I realized that for whatever reason, it didn't know my store. So I had to reset up my store preferences in my app. So I'm standing there in the fucking hallway at Home Depot in the aisle, get it all set up. I find the AAA batteries. Meanwhile, I have food in my car that's like thawing out. And because it's a greenhouse effect on my car, and then I get to it and it's we have like 36 of these in stock. These like 16 packs of AAA Duracells, super strength, whatever. I don't even care. Like I just want batteries. I want to go. I don't care what they cost at this point. Won't tell me the aisle number, probably because they're in there for Black Friday and they're probably in some weird place that they can't tell you like where it's at because it's like in the middle of a hallway somewhere. So, 15 minutes later, I just put the phone in my pocket. I'm like, I'm just going to start going aisle by aisle. I'm looking for batteries, Eventually, I found them and I got out of there. It's so annoying. I hate batteries.
Dude, you're a fucking idiot. You know that?
No, I'm not.
When that person walked up to you and was like, hey, what do you need?
Well,
and you're like, where's the fucking batteries?
Yes.
And it would have been like,
but it shouldn't have been that hard.
Here's the batteries. They're all at the front by the fucking pro desk.
But they weren't. They only had were double A's.
Everything.
I needed the triples.
Oh my gosh.
So I was just.
You're insufferable, dude.
Yeah, I know. I've heard.
You would rather wrangle your phone trying to figure out what store you're at on the Home Depot app to find the aisle.
Well, it just seemed like it makes sense. Like, go help someone who can like some person who can't actually like doesn't know what kind of whatever to buy for their home project. Like, all I need are AAA batteries. I'll find them. But yeah, in hindsight, man. I wish I would have just been, dude, where the AAA's at? I need them. But I didn't. So anyways, that's my story, I guess. The record is still doing well. Still getting nice compliments about the American Crows record. One Up My Land is my band. And I feel like something happened recently. We got a show this Wednesday in Erie at Lavery Brewing, which will be fun. It's going to be a shit show, though, because it's the night before Thanksgiving. It's like the busiest bar night ever. Hopefully we just sell a ton of shit. It'd be awesome. And we make it down and back in one piece. So as far as my life, that's all that's going on. I wanted to give a shout out to a show I'm really into real quick to the listeners if you're interested. And Jake, you might even enjoy this. I doubt you will, but you might. It depends on what you're in the mood for. But I have Hulu. I have Hulu. No, Amazon Prime. Sorry, take it back. Amazon Prime. Freevee is a weird TV whatever. I don't even know what Freevee, Freevee. I don't know what it is, but their programming comes through Amazon Prime Video, and there are commercials. But if you're familiar with Michael Connolly, I may have even talked about this before. Mike Connolly is an author. He's an American author. Writes fantastic, realistic, like crime novels, and he wrote The Lincoln Lawyer. He wrote a couple other really good ones, but his characters include, you know, The Lincoln Lawyer, Honey Chandler. He's got Harry Bosch, and so I'm a real big fan of the Bosch TV series, which is available on Prime. It's so good. I've gotten through it, and when they stopped it, they did a spin-off with his daughter. Bosch is now retired from the LAPD. He was a murder detective. He has this line that I love. It's it's so good. It's just everybody counts or nobody counts, meaning all homicide victims he's going to treat the same, whether they were pieces of shit or they were good people or whatever. He's going to treat every case equitably. Everybody counts or nobody counts. I'm fucking going out. I'm solving the crime. You know, it's a really good tagline. He also had a thing on his desk, his character, that says something. I'm going to paraphrase, but it was something like, "Quit sitting on your ass, go outside and knock on some doors." That's like a detective thing, right? So it's kind of cool. But this spinoff, the first season was really good. So he's no longer with the LAPD. He retired. He's now a private eye. His daughter wants to follow in his footsteps and joins the police force. You can imagine how he would have some reservations about, you know, his daughter being involved in the shit he was involved in. But like, she just wants him to, like, I don't know, you know, be proud of her or whatever. First season was really good. Second season's out now. It's called Bosch Legacy. It is so good. The narrative, the story, it's like, I binged it in 2 days. 10 episodes, hour apiece. 2 days I was through it. And it's so fucking good. No one talks about it. Harry Bosch is played by Titus Welliver, who I'm sure you know who that is if you see him. He has like these really... he's an older guy. He has these blue eyes, though. And he's got... His arms are covered in tattoos in real life. He's a really good actor. He was in... Deadwood, maybe. No, maybe it was. He was in a long running TV cowboy series with Timothy Oliphant. I want to say it was Deadwood. Might have been Deadwood, but he's been in a lot of stuff. You've seen this dude around. But Stephen King, and I'll shut up and we'll get on to video games in a second, but Stephen King is a big fan of the Bosch show. And he said that there could be nobody else to play Bosch. Like, Titus Welliver just fucking nails this character. And it's crazy because I watched an interview with him about Bosch, and he is acting in Bosch. Like, you know, some actors, like, you're just like, that's just who that guy is. Titus Welliver is so good that I was like, that's who that guy is. Like, he is Bosch. But like, then I watched an interview with him, and like, he's like fucking doing Joe Pesci impersonations and joking around. Bosch is like a dead level, fucking super serious character. But Titus Welliver plays him so well, and then you watch an interview with Titus Welliver, all he's doing the whole fucking time is joking and laughing and like doing his Joe Pesci voice. So fucking good. If you guys like real crime, kind of solve the murder with maybe a little bit of movie stuff in it, not a lot, and he plays the trope of the character that's like, you know, he's gonna get his guy even if he has to, you know, break a couple rules to do it. And it's just like, it's just a perfect setup for every crime novel, dude. I love it. So good. I recommend it. Anyways, we can quit talking about all that shit. Get on with maybe some video games. Every episode, Jake, we talk about games that we're playing. I finished Alan Wake 2 last week, and I did purchase and start Spider-Man 2. I feel like I have some weird feelings about this game. And I think maybe I'm picking up what you put down when you were playing it, as far as like the narrative, the pacing and stuff about having two Spider-Men. It's weird. Like, I don't know how far I am. And so I have a few quick comments about it so far. And I will say this. I'm playing on fidelity mode, but I have the option to uncap the frame rate, and I'm using the what's the feature that the TVs have to let things run at a higher frame rate?
You're talking about VRR?
Yeah, and I have VRR enabled. So
do you have the 120 hertz mode on?
yeah. And it's running really good, and it looks fantastic. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
The gameplay's good, and I also see what you mean about wanting to make it easy at times. There have been some crowds, especially with, spoiler, not spoiler, these enemies that have, like, fire. And
yeah.
Some of them are, like, some of those crowds are, like, what the... You get hit once, and you lose, like, 40% of your health. And it's like, well, I can't get hit again. And there's like 17 bad guys, It's crazy.
Yeah, it's for like a mainstream game, it's harder than you would think it should be.
Yeah.
In certain instances. Now, you do get better as you play, and you get used to like using the abilities and the gadgets in the right order and dodging properly and stuff. And the game's all about moving around. So that's something that, like, you can't just attack enemies head on. You have to, like, jump around and dodge and take advantage of, like, when you can get them grouped together. I don't know if you got that. The only gadget that I used in the entire game, and I don't know if you've got this yet or not, but you probably do, is the one where you toss it and it shoots out the webs and slams all the people together.
Yeah, it brings them all in one spot.
Right. So, like, you have some abilities that let you do area of effect attacks and stuff, and it's useful to use an ability like that to suck them all in. Like, there's just, like... But like I was mentioning when I talked about it, is just, and I felt this way about the first game too, is that for the first, I would honestly argue for the first 5 to 8 hours, I struggled with the combat.
Yeah.
Like it felt difficult to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not good, especially like the dodging and stuff. They don't give you a whole lot of time. And especially when you're getting barraged constantly. Like, do you know, this isn't really a spoiler, but do you know, like, there's those hunter enemies that will zip line up to a wall and then just, like, barrage you with fucking exploding arrows?
Yeah.
And then they, like, zip line to another place, and it's, like, kind of hard to get a lock on them
they
sometimes.
just keep shooting at you, yeah.
So, like, but yeah, I will admit, so, like, I beat the game. The story does come together for, like, the last third of the game, and it focuses mostly on, like, I don't really want to get into it.
No, that's fine.
But for, like, the first 2/3 of it, I mean, you probably get what I mean about how it's like, oh, now I'm doing all this Miles shit.
Yeah, I just don't even...
You're like, oh, now I'm doing all this Peter shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird.
I don't know what character I should be playing. And it's just like...
I think there are certain, I don't know if you noticed this yet, but there are certain like side quests and stuff that you have to be one or the other.
Right.
Like you can't do all the, like, did you get the Mysteriums yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So like when you get to do those, like only Miles can do those. Or like when you get to like
the Prowler missions, like where you're finding Prowler stuff?
Like only Miles can do those ones,
Yeah.
right? And then there's a certain type that only Peter can do those ones. So that's a little bit annoying. I kind of wish that, like, especially at the end, like when I was getting the platinum, I had to farm some combat.
Mm-hmm.
And once I completed all those side things, it was something I specifically had to do with Peter. But the only side missions that I could replay were ones that you can only do as Miles. So I thought that was kind of annoying. So if you have any intention on getting the platinum in this game,
yeah,
I would recommend at least looking up the combat trophies and trying to take care of them like as you play the game, because there is an element at the end where it was like I would have to do it all based on random encounters throughout the city. Those like, you know, those the exclamation points that pop up. And so I'd basically have to swing around for a while until one would pop up, go do some combat against some guys. And then if it was like a car chase, I didn't get anything out of it because those just end. But anyway, I didn't mean to draw it off of your experience.
No, you're fine.
It sounds like it sounds like are you still having fun with it though? Other than like the game is a big departure from Alan Wake 2.
It's like I said,
as far as like,
dude, when I beat Alan Wake 2 and I sent you that text, I was like, I don't even know that I can play Spider-Man right now. Like, because Alan Wake 2 was such an experience. And I was just like, man, Alan Wake 2 is such a fucking experience and such a refreshing experience. I don't know if I can jump right into pulp comic book, you know, but I'm enjoying it. It's like night and day different with everything, setting, aesthetic, tone, gameplay. Everything is, they're worlds apart, those two games. But, and they should be. But I guess playing Spider-Man 2 reminded me how much I do like the game. And, you know, I guess like my frustration with it comes from, like, I had a side mission. It starts the missions prematurely, I think. Like, if you just get in an area, it'll just start a mission. Like, so, like, I was trying to get to a side mission with Peter Parker, and this is minor spoiler. It's you're just trying to rescue some people from inside a building that is burning or something. And you got to use your spider bot to do it. And I'm trying to get there. And I think twice on my route to there, it wasn't like there was a crime that happened that I derailed intentionally. I had stumbled into an area that triggered like a cutscene that advanced the main story. And that wasn't what I was trying to fucking do. So, like, you know, here I am. I see my target in the distance for the side mission. I'm just gliding, whatever, swinging from the rooftops, and I'm going. And then all of a sudden, it's just cutscene. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not there yet. And then it's just like, oh, I went into the area for the next main story mission on my way to this thing and didn't mean to trigger. Like, you don't actually go to those areas and say, press this button to trigger the story mission. It's like when you're in the vicinity of where it occurs, it just fucking happens. So, like, I've advanced the story mission way faster than I've meant to just by traversing the city. And it's frustrating because, like, I'm not there yet, like, in my mind. Like, I'm paying attention, but, like, so now I feel like things are out of sync. Like, I was fighting cultists before I even discovered the cultists were a thing because the way that the map is laid out and the way that I was traversing it, not because of a choice that I made. You know, I don't know. It seems like
I think that happens. I think that's like specifically with the cultists. I think that's kind of the way that it happens for most everyone. Like, that happened for me too, where it's just like there are random encounters on the map, and then like you get the flame missions or whatever, which is like based around that stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how like, generally when I was playing that game, I would do like a main story mission, and then once it dropped me back out into the real world, I try to do some side stuff for a while and just like kind of avoid the area of the main mission. Yeah. Just to,
you shouldn't have to, though. You know, you shouldn't have to avoid the area.
I think it's just a matter of keeping track of where, because you are right. If you happen to swing through the area where the main mission is at, it'll just
it starts the main mission.
Pull you into it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to just move around. Have you unlocked any of the fast travel yet?
I unlocked one, but I don't know how it works. It said I unlocked it.
It's really cool. So literally anywhere on the map, you just hold down triangle and it'll fast travel to that spot, and you'll be swinging in that area of the city. There's no checkpoints. Nice. There's no, like, you know, it's really cool. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, this is, you know, you know, there's that whole thing. It's like the power of the SSD and all that bullshit. But it kind of is true, where it's like I could be literally on the other side of the map, and, you know, I could just literally go anywhere on the map and hold down triangle, and it instantly goes to that area, and Spider-Man's either swinging or swooping that area, and you just pick up control and keep going.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But you do have to unlock fast travel, which I don't remember if you had to do that in the first game or not.
I don't remember. I'm enjoying it a lot. I don't mean to talk negatively about it, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like, and I'm sure you compare the games, you can tell the difference, but like the way that I remember the other Spider-Man games, Spider-Man and then Miles Morales, I don't really feel like this is a big advancement in the title. Like it's just very much like God of War 2 Ragnarok to God of War. Like it's just like, I just don't feel like they've pushed the envelope or pushed themselves to do anything groundbreaking with this game, and they played it pretty safe, which is fine because it's a good game. You know, I would still recommend it for sure. But I just feel like I would have liked maybe more stuff will open up in the later. Where I'm like, whoa, you know. I will say that I don't really like Spider-Man's like specials with like the spider legs that come out of his back and stuff. I think that's kind of stupid looking. I get maybe he uses that in the comic book and stuff. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
The gadgets are cool.
His abilities transform the most. Like, you get some new stuff with Miles, definitely, but Spider-Man, it's not till later in the game, but he gets like all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use like eventually you get to a point where you don't have to use the whatever they call that, like the freaking spider arms or whatever I don't know what it is. You don't have to use that forever.
I'm excited for the Venom stuff to come into play because I know he's in it. But like, I just I don't know, man. Like, there's just the opening battle was really cool. I thought that was done well. I like it, man. I don't really have any issues with it. I don't know that I even expected anything different at all. I definitely didn't expect anything different, but I wanted to be surprised by something. But I don't feel like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like, you know, there hasn't been a part where I've been like, oh shit, this is cool. Like, they're doing something a little different here. And I think that is supposed to be the two Spider-Men. I think that's supposed to be the thing. And if you like it, great. But if it's, I don't know, it just seems like a lot to manage.
I will say they added, so I don't know how long it's been since you've played the first one, but the combat and the way that all the abilities work is way better than in the first game. Good. So that is part of it. And the what do I want to say? They have that. Have you gotten the web line stuff yet?
Yeah, I got the web line. That's cool.
So like they did add a couple of things. I do think the game is for sure better from a gameplay perspective, but as like an overall package with like story and graphics and all that stuff, like I agree with you. I don't think that it's better than the first one.
Right.
But it is still very fun to play.
Yeah, it's good. So I'm glad I'm playing it. There seems to be a lot less buzz this time around with this game as opposed. I remember the first game when it came out, man, it was just like, they had huge displays in different cities and stuff like about this game. I think Sony headquarters had this big thing about Spider-Man, and like it was they pushed the shit out of it. I haven't really gotten that vibe with this game, so I don't know. We'll see. But Jake, what about you? Are you're still playing Alan Wake?
Yeah. So just a quick note on the Spider-Man thing. I think that's just our kind of tuned in sort of circles kind of perspective because Spider-Man 2 is selling faster than Spider-Man 1 did.
Wow.
So I think from a popularity perspective, I think it's bigger than ever. I think it's just from our kind of like, you know, looking at reviews and people chattering about it in the industry and stuff. It's just like, we've been here before kind of thing. Yeah. You know, so
fair enough.
But anyway, as far as me goes, I'm still playing Alan Wake. I'm only about 6 or 7 hours into it. I haven't really gotten to play it all that much. I just did. It's getting fucking wild though. Like I just did. I don't want to say I just did, but like I'm playing as Alan Wake.
Yeah.
At this point, so I will admit, I like. You know, we were talking about the mind place thing last week, and how I didn't like the detective pinboard or whatever. Mm-hmm. I will admit, I actually do really like Alan Wake's version of it, at least with regard to like how he rewrites the dark place in real time. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's pretty fucking cool. I'm not like the biggest fan of the whole lamp thing. It's just kind of annoying. It's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit annoying. But as far as like where you find the scenes and then you can like apply different narrative points to it,
right.
and there's this like graphic where there's like he's typing in real time and like it changes. Like it's fucking cool.
It is really cool.
It's really neat. You know, I don't think that that's necessarily a spoiler or anything. Like, it's kind of hard to describe. You'll know what I mean if you play the game and you see it. But I've been playing as Alan Wake for a while. I don't know what part I'm on. Mm-hmm. It hasn't really like instructed me to move back to Saga yet, though.
Did it tell you that you could?
That far. No. So I'm guessing that I'm like. I think I'm like getting to that point. Like I said, I'm like 6 or 7 hours in, but I just did this whole. I just got to the point where it seems like their stories are converging. And so I am guessing that there's going to be a point here shortly where they're going to instruct me that I can go back and forth. But, dude, this game is way fucking scarier than the first one, especially Alan Wake's story arc.
Yeah.
Like, that whole shit, I don't know. Like, it's just...
It's hard to talk about Alan Wake without spoiling it.
Dude, it's so hard to talk about it without spoiling it, because even, like, God, I guess I can't really say anything, but, like, just, like, first of all, I hate that they kind of nerfed the flashlight in this game.
Yeah.
But like, I wish it, you know how in the first game you could kind of like, you could focus the flashlight a lot longer. Whereas in like, as soon as you let off, he would stop focusing the flashlight. Mm-hmm. And it was like one big gradual bar. In this one, it's all these like mini bars. And if you tap the focus button, he uses a whole fucking bar. You don't have a choice. So if you accidentally hit it while you're just walking around, you wasted a bar of battery on your fucking flashlight. That annoys the shit out of me. But other than that, it plays really well. I will admit, I had to switch to performance mode. I can't fucking do fidelity mode. I just can't. The frame pacing is actually pretty bad. So there were points where I was like in combat and I could see the frame rate like going up and down as I was trying to fight, and it was just annoying the shit out of me. I do still maintain that the game does look way better in performance or in fidelity mode. It does. Mm-hmm. The performance mode has some like weird like shimmery shit that happens because like the resolution, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm willing to deal with that in order to have basically 60 frames, just because, especially when you're getting in those fights and you're trying to dodge those shadow things and it's dark and it's like, I need this to respond a little bit better. But that's just me personally. I could totally understand wanting to play this game in fidelity because it looks fucking awesome, especially like it's spooky. And dude, usually I'm okay. I've been okay with most of the jump scares that are in the game because there is a lot of them. But dude, this one I was playing last night. I don't know if it was because it was late or if it was because I got complacent because I was doing a lot of like puzzly shit.
Yeah.
But like it fucking caught me out of nowhere. And I just like was like, ugh. and it wasn't even like anything. it wasn't even anything like crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like a, I don't know, but yeah. So I'm still playing that. I'm guessing I'm going to be playing that for a while, but I've also been still trucking through Dead Space Remake. I was kind of concerned that I wasn't going to be able to play both of those games at the same time because they're both like survival horror, but they're different enough that I think it's okay.
Yeah.
And man, it really is so good. I really do think that you need to try and play it at some point.
I will.
But the last game that I wanted to bring up is kind of random. Is I played a few hours of that Persona 5 Tactica. It came out, and I wasn't gonna buy it, but I saw that it was on Game Pass, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll download it and check it out, because I've talked on the show before how much I really like Persona 5, like the original Persona 5. And this is like a tactics game in the Persona 5 universe with the same characters and everything. So I was like, okay, well, I'll download it and give it a shot or whatever. I don't love that they made it a little bit more like chibied out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that? Where like all the characters are a little more cartoony and squat and cute looking, and but the combat doesn't seem to be terribly complicated, but it's still fun because they're like these weird. Persona 5 had this system, this like one more system where it would allow you to, like, if you got criticals, you could take like another turn. And then they had like another system where, like, if you knocked a guy down, you could have your whole party do like a combo attack on the enemy. And they do a play on that with the tactical combat, the tactics-based combat, where you can like surround a downed enemy and do this crazy, I don't remember what the hell they call it, but it's like this super high damage attack where you just like are able to kill everything within your surrounded kind of triangle. But I don't know. I don't know if it's something that I'm going to stick with, but I've been enjoying it. I mean, it's very Japanese. The dialogue and everything, I don't think it's as compelling as the story. Doesn't even seem to be quite as compelling as what was going on in the original Persona 5. I don't know if it was a different team that made this or whatever, but it's just kind of weird. It definitely feels like they shoehorned Persona 5 into another game, kind of. You know, like I it's not as bad as some of those old games, like licensed games and stuff that we used to get. It's not anything like that. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but I don't think it's bad by any means. Like, I still like kind of enjoy the combat or whatever, but it might just take some time to get into, and I don't know how long the game is, but I don't know that I necessarily want to spend 50 hours playing a Persona 5 spinoff, but we'll have to see. That's kind of where I'm at right now, though.
Very good. Yeah, I don't know. I just I got to do them one at a time. I think. Well, and I guess I should also add. I bought another DualSense controller. I can't even tell. I think it's the purple one that I got. I might have thought it was blue, but it doesn't matter. It's $49, Black Friday deal, Best Buy, Amazon. You can get the DualSense for $49. I couldn't spend the extra for the Edge, but I got it, and it's amazing how much better the battery life is in this compared to the other new controller I had. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, these battery life on these things just dwindle, dude. Their ability to hold that charge, it's not great. So this new one's nice. It's a nice addition. And I guess in addition to that, I'm looking to pick up, I noticed, if you guys can hear like a humming noise in the background, my neighbor is running a leaf blower right now, so I apologize. It's really annoying.
I can't hear it, so
it's all I can hear. But I guess so. The deal, the Resident Evil 4 remake is like $44.99 or something right now on the PSN for Black Friday. I think it's $44.99. It might be $49.99. I thought it was like $45. And
For what?
Resident Evil 4.
Oh.
So that's a great deal, especially because the VR is going to be coming out in December for free. And that's how I want to play this game for the first time, is in VR. I've never played Resident Evil 4, so I can't wait. So I'm going to pick that up. But let's move on. We don't have any listener feedback, but if you guys want to write the show, you can write us at psisawesome@gmail.com. You can also leave comments on our YouTube videos, or, as we prefer, just sign up to our Patreon site, and for $1 a month, you can leave us comments when we post the episodes early for you there. But yeah, we do air every Wednesday. And if you are a subscriber to our Patreon, you will probably have access to the show on Mondays. This is a holiday weekend. This is a holiday week coming up, with Thursday being Thanksgiving. I don't think we have any kind of plans to change the show structure. We're probably still going to put one out the way we have been. So that being said, let's talk about some PlayStation news. That's what we're here for after all anyways. And the first news point I have is relevant to the title of today's episode. I've long since been curious what Naughty Dog has been working on. And there were some rumors a long time ago about this, and I didn't really want to bring it up on the show. I think maybe we talked about it, but The Last of Us Part 2 is now coming to PS5 in January 2024. The game is releasing January 19th. And what I do love about this, because I don't know why they didn't do this with the original Last of Us game, but like, if you own The Last of Us 2 on PlayStation 4, there's a $10 upgrade path, which means for $10 you can get the PS5 version, which is awesome. My question is, I think I have the disc version of The Last of Us Part 2. So how do I get the digital download? Do I need to use the disc to play it? Probably. Sucks. But anyways, there's that. And then what's interesting, a couple of the features they've added is the game's going to include a brand new rogue-like survival mode where you can choose your path through a series of randomized encounters. And for this mode, the game will offer the player an ability to play previously unplayable characters from the Last of Us world that you can unlock. And they all have their unique gameplay traits, which I'm guessing they have their own set of moves and stuff. I don't know. For a survival mode, which is interesting. I guarantee you can be Joel's brother, probably. Billy, Bobby, Ricky, what's his name?
Oh gosh.
I can't even remember his name. Billy, I think.
I don't know. It's escaping me too. I don't think it's Billy.
Rick, Joel. There's Joel and
Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah, I knew it was an E name. Yeah, Bobby, Billy. Yeah, so I bet you can be Tommy. You could probably be Tess and these other people. And that they're also including, which initially got my excitement level up, but they said that there's going to be a section called Lost Levels. But you're only going to be able to explore early development versions of 3 new levels not seen in the original game. And this remaster, it's a remaster, I believe, for the PS5 is going to offer developer commentary. And in addition to that, a guitar free play mode where you can unlock additional instruments if you want, which is kind of stupid, but kind of cool at the same time. I don't care about unlocking different instruments if they're all guitars. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. But on top of all of this, of course, the Last of Us Part 2 will offer 4K resolution in fidelity mode and improved load times, and it will also integrate full DualSense functionality. So, Jake, for a $10 upgrade path, are you into this?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, the roguelike thing I think is neat. I'm not going to probably play it, but I like the idea of being able to play as other characters and have unique abilities or whatever. I'm curious kind of what that means. Or I guess you said unique traits. I don't know gameplay traits. I don't know what that means, but like maybe some characters have more health than others or whatever. I don't know, but the lost levels thing is kind of interesting. Being able to play as if the game wasn't long enough. They have 3 levels that they didn't even put in there that you can play. Which is I mean, I think it's cool, like, going back. I think it's kind of neat to see sort of what's up with that. The guitar free play mode is something that I don't have any interest in doing, but some people online did some crazy shit with that guitar thing that Ellie does in the game, like playing freaking Metallica songs and shit like that. So I could see people being interested in doing this. And when they say unlock additional instruments, I do wonder if they're talking about additional guitars or if it's like, oh, they actually figured out a way to map this same kind of play thing to like a fucking cello or a piano or a freaking violin or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I presumed it was guitars, but yeah, maybe you're right.
But that would be kind of, I mean, it's cool. I guess what I'm getting at is that I think that this release is worth a $10 upgrade. And I don't know, I might pick it up just because I've been thinking a lot about going back, and I've only played the game once.
Oh, it's
I played
so
it the
good.
one time and I didn't want to play it again. So I'm thinking about maybe going back and playing it again now that like the I don't know if you want to say like the shock of my first playthrough has worn off. I think I could probably play through it again with a little bit more perspective. So if I'm going to do that anyway, fuck yeah, I'd do the PS5 version, get all the, you know, the bells and whistles, be able to play it at 60 frames. Cause I assume that when they say 4K resolution and fidelity mode, that they also have a performance mode that allows you to play the game at 60 frames.
I would hope.
I guess. But yeah, I this kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they announced it like right now. I don't know, like there's something weird about them announcing it right now.
I think that they're going to show something at the Video Game Awards, which is why they wanted to announce it.
Maybe that kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I don't think this is bad. It's as long as they're not calling it like a fucking remake or whatever. They're just like upscaling it and kind of adding some shit to it for the PS5, and honestly kind of surprised it took them this long to do it. So but I think it was like because of the whole factions thing, thought maybe because they're taking this long to put it out, maybe they'll include factions with it, or maybe it was going to come out alongside factions, or maybe they were going to do a more crazy kind of rebuild of the game and release that alongside the next season of the show or something. Yeah. But it sounds like they're just putting it out. And I mean, and to be fair, they're adding a bunch of shit to it, so it's not like they're just shitting it out. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. I can get behind this. It doesn't excite me like a new Naughty Dog game. But I know there's a lot of new PS5 owners, and I know there's a lot of people out there who have not played Part 2 of The Last of Us. And it's definitely worth a playthrough. It's very good. You got to be in the right headspace to enjoy the game and take it for what it is. It's very long, but man, it is a masterpiece.
Just be open-minded. Just be open-minded when you play it. Try not to get butthurt by the story. Because if you are able to sort of just... I mean, it's designed to make you feel something, but, you know, just make sure that you don't go into it sort of with negative expectations just because of all of the hubbub on the internet.
Right.
Is what I'm getting at, I guess.
Yeah. It's good, man.
Because it is a great game. My and we've talked about this ad nauseum. My only complaint about it is that it's too long. Other than that, I think it is a really good game.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really fucking good. All right. Well, anyways, I talked briefly about Black Friday deals earlier on the show. But if you are looking to take advantage of, extending the life of your PS Plus subscription during Black Friday, there is a 30% off deal, but be warned, it seems that it only works for new memberships, or if you are currently subscribed to PS Plus, if you are upgrading to the next tier. You can try to use this to, decrease the cost of extending your current subscription as is. But be warned, I can't guarantee that it's going to work that way right now. This was on Push Square. They wanted to bring this to the attention of their viewers. And I think this is interesting because I think that you should be able to just extend your PS Plus subscription. But if that's the case, if you think about it, and they historically always offer PS Plus at a discount on Black Friday, you could essentially just refresh it every Black Friday and be paying 30% less than what Sony believes you should be paying. So if you start your regen cycle now, then the next time it's due, it'll conveniently be 30% off. So they're probably trying to avoid you getting into some sort of like discount loop, by doing it this way. But I don't know. I don't see
why they would care. I mean, historically, they've always allowed you to, buy a year of, just buy a year of PS Plus for cheap.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe at this point they don't have to give you a discount because people are going to sign up no matter what. So maybe they just don't care.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's because they just fucking increased the price of it by 30%. So maybe they don't want to dial that back. I don't know, man.
I don't know. But speaking of deals, Jake, if you are on the PSN, which you are, and if you download the Apple Music app to your PlayStation 5 and you start it, you can be offered a 6-month free trial of Apple Music for free, which is actually huge because it's like $10 a month. That's a $60 freebie. But let it be known that you can cancel that subscription anytime, but after the 6 months are up, they will start charging you. So set an alert on your calendar if you don't want to keep the service. But while you do that, tune into the podcast on Apple Music and, listen to some of our music on there. Stream some of that shit while you're gaming. That's a nice deal. Apple Music is a great service, I think. I don't like how it disadvantages the little guys as far as we don't get paid shit for when people stream our stuff, but they have pretty much everything. It's a nice service for the consumer.
Yeah.
So 6 months of that for free. That's not bad. And then I would imagine that translates to your phone and any other Apple devices or anywhere else you're pulling in Apple Music just under your account. So I think when you go to use this, they ask for your Apple ID and then you put it in and then it just applies the free 6 months to your Apple ID. So you can have free streaming on your phone or whatever for 6 months, which is dope. Take advantage of it if you can. And then what I want to do is go back real quick. We talked briefly, Jake, about how we have plenty of time to pick our Game Awards winners. And we didn't even talk about any of the nominees. But I want to go back real quick. And I want to just say my initial pick for Game of the Year. Get it on record now. I think it's kind of silly, though, for me to even be able to pick any of these because I've only played 1.5 of these games. That being said, the Game of the Year award nominees for the Game Awards are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is the same game, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and then The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I obviously, right now, I really want Alan Wake 2 to win because the game's fucking a masterclass in horror. It's so good. It's so refreshing. It's so creative. It's just like hit all of the check boxes for me. But I don't believe it will win. That's my pick. I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 will win. Personally, I don't think Spider-Man 2 is going to win. I bet you it's going to be Super Mario Brothers Wonder or Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom would be my guess of who actually gets it. But I want Alan Wake 2 to win. Jake, do you have an opinion on these games based on what you've heard or what you've played?
My guess is that Baldur's Gate's going to win.
You think?
Yeah.
It's a very niche game, though.
It's the most surprising. You say niche, but it's sold like millions and millions of copies.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? You know what I mean? So like, and that was just on PC even before it came to console. So I don't know. I think Spider-Man 2 being on here is just as a popularity contest. I think that Resident Evil 4 being on here is just because it's historically one of the greatest survival horror games ever made, but I don't think it's going to win. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, from what I understand, is an amazing game, but it's not. I don't know. My guess is it's either going to be Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3, but it's entirely possible. Like, Alan Wake 2 could win. I don't necessarily. I wouldn't probably bet on it.
No.
But
it's not out of the equation.
It's enough people are talking about how incredible it is. But I think that the thing is that Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, the narrative surrounding both of those games is that both of them have kind of redefined their genres. And so they're going to be tough to beat. I don't know. I haven't played I wanted to play Super Mario Brothers Wonder, but I don't really have a good way to play it. So, just because I'm a big Mario fan, and I never played Baldur's Gate 3. I was interested in playing it, but I just haven't gotten to it. And then I played Tears of the Kingdom. I personally don't think it's as great as everybody's saying it is, but it's got so much buzz around it, and that's this. I'm kind of curious if there's a similar feeling around Baldur's Gate. I've never really heard. The thing is that I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Baldur's Gate. I have heard people say some bad things about Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
but most of it is revolving around the fact that it's on fucking 7,000-year-old hardware, so it looks like shit and runs like shit, but it's fun to play. So I don't know. It'll be kind of interesting. I guess if I'm like, gun to my head, who are you gonna pick? I think I would pick Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm not confident.
Well, you better be confident if someone has a gun to your head. That's the best.
Thanks for making me pick.
That's the best that you can pick, though. That's what you would go with.
Yeah.
I really want Alan Wake 2 to win this. That game is special. I thought about going back and trying to platinum in the game. I'm pretty close. I'm really close to.
Don't you have to? Does that game make you do it on like the nightmare mode or whatever?
I don't know. I didn't check, but I know like my percentage is up there.
Because I think that like the first game you had to beat it on that nightmare difficulty. I don't know if they are going to make you do it on this one, but the game is. There's not a lot of combat in it, but the combat that you do have is surprisingly difficult.
What do you think of the wolf? The wolves.
I fucking run away from them.
Yeah, they're fucking terrible.
Because it's like they're like impossible. I don't want to say this because of the way that they nerfed the flashlight. They're like impossible to fight because they jump around too much.
They're so fast.
You can't like use one little flashlight charge on them to expose them.
You can't get a bead on them.
Yeah, I've only encountered like a couple of them. I fought one, it killed me. So like the next one, I just avoided it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, let's move on to the next news point. So in kind of an obvious post on Push Square, but also not obvious. They announced that we're getting different difficulty modes for when, the anticipated Final Fantasy VII Rebirth title comes out next year. The 3 difficulty modes are going to be easy and normal, and then dynamic. The first 2 are exactly as you'd expect, easy and normal. But dynamic difficulty permits enemies to grow stronger as your characters grow stronger. So you'll never feel like a badass. Or, you know what I mean? So I think that some of the way the difficulty scales in these games is kind of like that, but I think dynamic specifically is made to give you a fucking challenge. So I would just say hard, but it's not like they have a set. I believe as you engage with different enemies, depending on your character's stats, will predicate the enemy's stats, so that you're never going to have a leg up, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think that it's probably more akin to like traditional level scaling, where it's like the enemies, no matter where you go, the enemies are gonna be scaled to fight you. So like I think what this is gonna do is just render any amount of grinding to be essentially pointless. You know what I mean? Like it's just
so race to the
whereas
final
like on
boss.
easy like on easy and normal, you could probably utilize their they have that combat simulator.
Yeah.
And I think you can use that to level up and stuff and grind a little bit to make the game a little bit easier for you. I don't think that you're probably going to be able to do that in dynamic mode because the enemy levels will just come up with you.
Right.
So, but it's possible that the overall comparison of your ability to your enemies is also going to be more difficult. So it might just be, I won't be playing on that mode. Let's just say that.
Yeah, fair enough. But for those who want the challenge, that's some nice news. Jake, we haven't talked about this either, and it wasn't really an oversight on our part. It was just something that like I didn't know that we should even talk about. Was the PlayStation Portal released? It's been out for a while. I don't have one. You don't have one. Did you end up getting a Backbone or no?
No.
The Backbone is on sale for like $45 or something right now. $50 for Black Friday or something. It's like really cheap.
I think it's more than that.
I don't know. I think it's on sale for like half off.
It's on sale for $70 at Amazon.
I think you can find it cheaper. I think you can find
it's
it
normally
cheaper.
$100.
Anyways. Yeah. I'm talking out my ass again on the show. No, I swore I saw it for cheaper somewhere. Needless to say, the PS Portal, which is the Sony-made handheld streaming device, and this may be unsurprising to some, but it is surprising to me. It's sold out. You can't get it, from what I understand now. It's gone. I truly think that this is it can be attributed to a 100% absolute misunderstanding by the regular consumer what this thing is. I think that they think it's a gaming system because the price is $200 or whatever it is. It's cheap compared to like a Switch, and it's fucking Sony. Sony shit is hard to get a hold of, or it has historically been lately. We're coming into Christmas. I think this thing drops and parents are just like, oh, my kid will love this. I'm going to buy it. Not realizing that it's a streaming device only. I think this is a complete, not all sales were that, but I would think that there are many people who bought this thing not knowing what the fuck it was.
I think that's possible. And when they say it's sold out, though, one, I'm curious how many they made. And two, I think that there is an aspect of that. You are correct. But I feel like sometime here in the next, by the holidays especially, we'll hear it if that's a problem. Like there'll be rumblings of like bunches of people trying to return these things and like all this stuff because they don't
It's
know,
not working.
they didn't know what it is. You know what I mean?
I can't get it to play any games. I would be like,
I think it's like a little bit early to
where do
to
you
know. I don't know.
Put
I mean,
the games in at.
Yeah, it could be and maybe people are gonna buy it and try and break it and use it as like a fucking emulator machine. I don't know, because it does run on Android.
Well,
so
good luck.
We'll have to I mean, I think we're gonna have to wait a little bit to really see what the impact is. Like if it comes back into stock and it doesn't resell right away, then maybe what you're saying is right and people finally got the hint and they don't want them. Or maybe it is that people are actually interested in this thing. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty weird. I would not have expected it to sell out either, but people seem to be into it. So, but you would think, because isn't it only for sale on the, where was it for sale at?
Was it PlayStation?
I mean,
Direct?
was it only
I
for
don't
sale
know.
on PlayStation Direct or PlayStation Portal? I guess you can buy them in multiple places, but
Can you find them right now?
I don't know if you can buy them in the store. So I feel like most of the people that are gonna buy these things that are ignorant of the fact that they require a console, you would think that they would be people that would be buying them in stores or, you know, and I would think that like if you bought one of these at GameStop, they would tell you when you bought it that like, oh, do you know that this is this? Because like when I bought the digital only Xbox One, I don't know how many years ago that was, 5 years ago or whatever. I bought it at GameStop because it was like $100 or something. And they told me at checkout, they're like, do you know that this doesn't play discs? And I was like, yes, that's why I'm buying it. And they're like, okay, well, we have to ask everybody that buys one of these. And I'm like, okay, well, but I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, that's great that it's selling like it is. I've seen differing reports on the effectiveness of the unit, but I think a lot of that boils down to how good is your freaking wireless router. So, I don't know. I still don't know that I'm interested in buying one of these, but it's cool that people are liking it, I suppose. Or at least that people are buying it. I guess we don't know how many people like it.
Yeah,
so
when you
far.
go to the Sony Direct site, it definitely says, you know, you can access your PS5 library of games over your home Wi-Fi network to play them. But like, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of kids hogging up the TV and mom and dad want their TV back, right? There could be some of that going on too. Like, let's give Johnny this so he can like fucking sit outside on the swing and play while we just watch TV. You know, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I've got a bad feeling that there's a lot of sales of that kids are going to get and not know what to do with it. It's cheaper than the PlayStation 5. Here you go. Says it can run PS5 games. You know, like, I'm just, there's a lot of like there's a lot of opportunity for miscommunication with what that thing does. Sony has done everything they can to tell clearly what it does, but you also have to rely on the intellect of parents, on the intellect of the consumer to realize what those words mean. Like, you could tell somebody, oh, you're getting a, you know, I don't know, a 450 gigabyte fucking blah, 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 blah. It's, you know, and they're like, oh, it said it was 450 gigabytes. And it's like, yeah, but that's not like a lot right now. Like, you know, it's not like, so like you can put all this technical jargon on there, but if the person on the receiving end doesn't understand what it means and they just see Sony and PlayStation handheld, like, boom, they're just going to buy it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Sony though, that's not really their. If they tell the consumer it is what it is, that's not really their problem. So I don't know. We'll definitely have to see. I'm really curious if in the next few months or whatever we find out that a lot of people are returning them.
Oh, God.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
That would suck. I hope it's that people just really like it.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Anyways, moving forward, Dragon's Dogma, a game I never got into, but one that I think a lot of people are excited for the sequel, Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom has announced that after Thanksgiving, on November 28th, we're going to get a 15-minute showcase for Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, we're going to get 15 minutes of new gameplay footage and more info on the game. And rumor is we're going to be getting a release date, but the release date apparently leaked prematurely, and the Peggy has it down as releasing March 22nd, 2024. So, Peggy, you know, it was the game rating thing.
Peggy 18.
Yeah. It was a Peggy 18. So it's interesting because Dragon's Dogma, the first one, was a single player action RPG game, and I think it did well, and I think people were excited about it, and they enjoyed it from what it was. But Part 2 is finally coming out years and years and years and years later, so Capcom might have their hands on another fucking hit here if this game, the excitement is there for it. Jake, do you know anything about Dragon's Dogma 2? Because I think that people are stoked on this.
I only played, I think there might have been a demo for it on PS3.
The original.
Yeah, and I think I might have played that, but I never really got super deep into it. They released it, they re-released it on PS4 a couple years ago, and I think we might actually be getting it on PS Plus or something if we haven't gotten it already. So, I don't know if I would be interested in playing this game or not, but we'll have to see what it looks like. I know that trailer that we got in that one showcase looked really cool.
Yeah.
But I kind of need to see how the game plays, I suppose.
The trailer,
but releasing next year, that's good.
You have seen some of the trailer for this game, right?
For Dragon's Dogma 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a trailer for it in that PlayStation showcase earlier in the year.
It looks very good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this game. Anyways, I'm probably more excited for it than I need to be. I still really want to play Final Fantasy 16 or whatever game it was that came out recently.
Yeah.
Was it 16?
Yeah.
I still need to play that. I wonder if they're running a deal on that. But anyways, those who are interested, there's going to be 15 minutes of new gameplay footage and info, and reportedly, possibly a release date to be announced very soon on the 28th. So you can take that to the bank. Next news point is, speaking of Alan Wake, Jake, don't watch this yet, but there is an Old Guards of Asgard music video that Remedy has dropped, and you absolutely should not watch this until you play through the game, because it will probably be somewhat spoilery, but I can't wait to watch this if it's what I think it is. I'm so excited. Anyways, just a side little news point there. And I think I missed a news point, possibly.
Dude, oh God,
We'll get
I
back
can't even
to
fucking talk about it without spoiling the game some. I was just going to talk about, like, when you first start playing as Alan Wake and you're on that, like, it's like the live action shit, and like the Old Guards of Asgard are there or whatever. Like, it's I don't know, man. I can't talk about it without spoiling it. It's fucking cool though.
Yeah. The other news point I had, which I don't know that anyone really cares about, I used it once in a while, but PlayStation was integrated with Twitter, which is now known as X. So they have pulled all of their integration with Twitter out. So what's interesting is an article in Push Square says that when you go to your PSN profile, there's a shared tab, and you can look at all the shit that you've shared on Twitter on there. Everything that you've ever posted to Twitter would show there. Now there's just a shared tab and you go to it and it's just nothing. So now you have a tab that doesn't need to be there on your profile. But I guess Elon Musk caught word that PlayStation pulled integration and they got rid of this feature. And now he wants to work directly with Sony to integrate Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, more efficiently and more intrinsically with PlayStation 5. There has not been any update yet on if Sony's going to be willing to do this or want to do this, but for one reason or another, they pulled their integration with Twitter out of the mix. It might just be that they had it called Twitter in their UI, or maybe they had it called something else and he changed the name to X and maybe the logos were wrong, or I don't fucking know, but they got rid of it for the time being. Whether or not it will return will be up to the future to figure that out. Anything on that, Jake?
I just don't know. I just hate Twitter. Like, actually used the Facebook functionality when they had that. Like, I would post stuff to my Facebook occasionally, but I don't use Twitter really. So once they got rid of the Facebook functionality, I just sort of stopped using the share feature on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a way that you can share it just internally and like your friends can see it on the PSN and all this stuff. But I don't know. This doesn't really matter to me at all. I mean, I don't really want Twitter shoved down my throat, so as long as there's none of that going on, I don't really care if they reintegrate this or not.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if they want to reintegrate it, awesome. People, I'm sure, use it. But see, I would be much more interested in them having like now I guess this goes hand in hand with the Facebook thing, but like an Instagram integration would be cool. If you could like post screenshots to Instagram,
that would be really convenient. And that's a Facebook company now too, so.
Yeah, but they don't have that, so why would we expect them to want to do it with the Twitter either?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, as a follow-up, Jake, to our previous conversations about layoffs at Embracer, they did lay off a lot of people. And Jake, we were having that discussion and we were like, man, 900 people, that's so many fucking people that lost their job. But then we were like, well, we also have to take consideration how many fucking people work at Embracer. So they have now said that 5% of the company was the 900 people. So you do some quick math. That meant that Embracer had 18,000 employees and they got rid of 900, which means they still have 17,100 employees. So when you put it into perspective like that, I believe that's the math. If I did it right, it was late when I was doing the notes, but I think that's correct. That's not really a ton, but that still sucks. But in addition to that, I wanted to talk that Digital Brothers, they publish games under 505 games. I believe that's how Control was released. They're laying off about 30% of their staff, and they were recently quoted to say the video game market has evolved since the pandemic to be more selective in terms of new games, with consumers increasingly reverting to well-established intellectual properties and playing these same games for longer periods. Digital Brothers' strategy has had to adapt to this new and evolving competitive scenario and will focus its efforts moving forward on the release of sequels in new versions of previously successful and established games with a limited number of new, larger budgets productions. End quote. So they're essentially saying, we're going to stick with what we know is going to make us money. We're not going to take much risk on IPs anymore, new IP. We're going to go back and stick with sequels. We're going to go back and re-release shit that already worked and just probably do these remasters because that's where the money's at. So that's kind of sad, you know? But this is the video game market speaking, so...
It's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, games just cost too much to make anymore. But it's like at the same time, it's like, do games cost a lot to make because they're like fucking 150 hours long?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, maybe, you know, make it shorter. I don't know. Or maybe make a AA game. Maybe don't make a AAA game. But
then
I'm not a business
buys
guy.
it.
Clearly, I am in the minority as far as games that I prefer, because I don't want to play anything that's multiplayer. I don't want to, you know, really play any live service games other than Destiny, and even Destiny I play like a single player game. So I'm obviously in the minority. It's probably hard for them to argue with the fact that Call of Duty gets so much.
Right.
And you know, they basically make the same fucking game every single year. So now, not to be mistaken with low quality. The Call of Duty games are high quality and they cost a lot of money to make. But yeah, I mean, fuck, dude, I don't know.
The people have spoken and the studios have responded.
Like, I don't know. Like does this mean we're going to get less games like Control? Probably.
No, it means we're going to get Control too.
I mean, in terms of like new sort of experiences, Control was a brand new IP. So, and to be fair, like, it didn't light the world on fire, but it only cost whatever, $25 million to make, which is so low compared to The Last of Us Part 2, which costs like $250 million to make.
Yeah.
So maybe it won't matter so much with them, but I'm hoping that the industry can figure something out where we can still have fun, tight single player experiences in tandem with these big ass freaking live service games, or the 900th fucking sequel or remake or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll work itself out, but it's kind of a scary time.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what it's going to take to. I mean, you got to have a lot of conviction in what your product is going to be, and you got to know that what you're doing is good. But there also has to be an element of luck that the right people play it and the word gets out, and that it is enjoyable by people. And then at that point, it's just like, is it even worth the risk? Why don't we just make another fucking Tekken game, or why don't we just make another, Mortal Kombat game, or why don't we just make, The Last of Us Part 3 or Uncharted 5, or, we know that the Spider-Man 3, we know these things are going to sell. I don't know. Like, it's tough because as a creative, you want to do new stuff. But like at the same time, with the amount, I mean, if it costs us, Jake, to put a record out, if it costs us millions of dollars to put a record out, we would never do it. You know what I mean? Because it's too big of a risk. Yeah. Even if it costs more than a couple $1,000, which is what it does now. Like, if it costs too much more than what it costs now, there's no way I would be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to justify the risk. But
that's also not your business.
Yeah, that's true.
You have a job and this is like a side hobby.
Yeah.
If it was like your business, you would get funding and all of that kind of crap and blah, 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 blah. So the analogy isn't one-to-one, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
There's a certain point you got to weigh the risk versus reward. What do we stand to earn from this? Is it worth, taking a step out and trying something new and different? And I think that the industry has proven that it is always worth it if what you're making is good. Like all of these titles were originals at one point. Tekken came out at some point. The first Tekken, The Last of Us came out at one point. Uncharted came out for the first time. If you have something that's good, you can stick it. But I think that the landscape of the video game industry is changing so rapidly, and what's cool and what's in and what's not, and what's what the kids want, and then all of those things are changing so quick that when it takes you 4 or 5 years to make a game, You almost have to be clairvoyant and predict what's going to be awesome in 5 years. You know?
Yeah, it really is unfortunate. I just wish that it seems like these publishers think that they need to make these huge experiences, and it's like, well, maybe if you made a shorter experience that was a lot cheaper, you could get your money back and you can make money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it maybe didn't cost you $300 million. Maybe you can make a game like Control for $50 million bucks.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I didn't sell 10 million copies of it, but I didn't need to.
Right.
I only needed to sell 500,000 copies to make money on it.
Right.
And the other thing too is like, don't release it into a fucking shitstorm. Like that game Immortals of Avium looks kind of cool. It doesn't look great, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
And it's like that game was literally sent to die by being released right around Baldur's Gate 3 and freaking all these other games that came out, Spider-Man and Starfield and everything. It's like if they had just either released that game 6 months earlier but even then you got freaking Tears of the Kingdom.
Hold it for January.
They just waited a year to release that. But I get it. They have to get their money back somehow. And it just is unfortunate. So I think there's a lot of strategy involved too that the companies are going to need to adapt, because the bigger the industry gets, the more games are going to be released, the harder it is going to be to get your big game noticed by fans. So there's going to have to be something. And I hope that answer isn't just straight up like, let's put microtransactions and fucking live service elements in every single game.
Right.
Because if your game doesn't sell to begin with, it doesn't matter how many fucking microtransactions you have in it. So why destroy the industry for us single player guys by doing that? But
I don't know.
And again, I don't have the wallet. I'm not risking the money. I don't really have a whole lot of say in that regard.
Fair enough. I don't know either. I don't know what the solution is. I just know that it's a tough time right now. The industry is. There's a lot of static in the industry, a lot of noise, a lot of games that maybe, clogging the arteries. We need to have quality over quantity, I think, right now. Anyways, the last news point. One of my favorite actors, Owen Wilson, is narrating the latest trailer for Teardown, which is really, he's such an iconic voice. The trailer, I mean, this isn't even my kind of game, but you watch the trailer and the presentation of the game in this trailer actually looks cool. Like the graphics look good. It looks really fucking kind of fun. It'd be fun to get in there and fiddle around. But like, I know I would not probably like this game, but.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I look at it, it's like, it looks fun to play. But to me, it looks like my whole thought when I watch the trailer is like, what's the point of this game? Like, if the point is literally to just build things and then break them like Legos or something, then like, that's not going to hold my interest. I need a goal.
Yeah, there is a goal, though. I think it's a heist game. I want to say it's a heist.
So what, you have to like you have the ability to freaking build these contraptions and destroy these environments and everything, but the whole point is to try and steal something?
So it says on Push Square, it says it's a point we echo in our review of the game, where we also praise the heist-style missions in the campaign and the impressive voxel-based visuals. On Push Square, the game has an 8 out of 10.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It might be kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be part of the PS Plus Extras game catalog, so there's no risk in just downloading it and trying it out.
Yeah, it looks kind of neat, man. I'll probably try it.
Yeah, I might have to try this out. That's kind of cool.
Teardown. Yeah, it looks cool. It looks neat. I don't know if it's probably going to be fun for like an hour or two, and then you might be like, yeah, that was my fill. Anyways, that's it for the show. I don't have new games coming out this week. We had no listener comments. It is what it is. You know, I hope that everybody has an awesome Thanksgiving, that you spend time with your family. You put the video game controller down a little bit. Jake and I always say this time of year, you know, family first. But make sure you enjoy your time. Hopefully you get some time off from wherever you work, if you work. And if you don't, just keep living a good life. I don't know. I don't really have anything else. We have a concert on the 22nd. Like I already mentioned that. And then on the 23rd, 4th, 5th, we're playing upstairs Mickey's, the Firehouse Tap and Grill here in Meadville. And then it's lights out for a bit for One Up My Land until, I don't know, second, third week in December. We're going back out to Erie to play one last show for the year. And then hopefully beginning of spring or 2024, we'll get the flood back out, get some practice sessions going, knock the dust off, knock the rust loose, and get a couple new bangers written, and hit the ground running and get a new record out. So I don't know, but yeah, we're tailing into the end of 2023, and as always, we appreciate you listening to our show. We hope you enjoyed episode 303. And Jake, is there anything you'd like to say before you go?
I don't think so. I'm just looking forward to I just need some time off. I don't get like any vacation or anything hardly, so having a 4-day weekend is going to be huge, to be able to just kind of chill out and spend time with my family and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get to spend a little bit more time with Alan Wake. I'd like to get through that game.
Wake.
But yeah, pretty much all the time. Scary.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, man. Yeah. Keep me posted. All right, guys. That's all we got for you right now. Write in. Let us know how you're doing. And let us know if you'll be picking up any games this Black Friday and what you got. And until next time, like Little Big Planet, Loco Roco, and Lords of Exile. P.S.
P.S.
This is awesome.
This is awesome.